Okay. Okay.
And the tab is closed now, Prabhu. The tab where the video is, the YouTube video is.
Yeah, I closed it.
Oh, thank you.
All right, we got to start this again. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Manojavam Marutatulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtham Vatatmajam Vanarayutha Mukhyam Shri Ramadutam Shirasa Namami Pujantam Rama Rameti Madhuram Madhuraksharam Aruhya Kavita Shakham Vande Valmiki Kokilam Apadam Apahartaram Dataram Sarvasampadam Lokabhiramam Shri Ramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyaham Dakshine Lakshmano Yasya Vame Cha Janakatmajah Purato Marutir Yasya Tam Vande Raghunandanam. Just the way Sri Hanumanji celebrated even before he saw Sita Devi, today when everything worked on time, I got the class going, I was already celebrating, wow, things were so easy. And so we learned from Sri Hanumanji's example that preliminary or premature celebration before actually becoming successful doesn't add, as they say in Sanskrit, na shobhate. It doesn't give the joy that actually success gives. So our Sri Hanumanji celebrated even before he saw Sita Devi by looking at Mandodari and thinking she is Sita, because she was very, very exceptional, unique in Ravana's harem. Nobody was like her. And there were women from Devaloka, Gandharvaloka, Nagaloka, Kinnaraloka, humans on earth, this place, all the beauties from all over the universe were part of Ravana's harem. But this one was unique. And he thought that was Sita. So Valmiki says he started celebrating Ashpotayamasa Chuchumba Pucham Nananda Chikrida Jagau Jagama Stambhan Arohan Nipatita Bhomao Nidarshayan Swan Kapim Prakatim Kapinam. He demonstrated, he showed his simian nature, his monkey nature, that got all excited, started celebrating. And then we went last week into discussing what that premature or preliminary celebration means, the distinction between transcendence and high-grade goodness. They are very, very similar, but they're not the same. So I don't want to beat that point further. Chapter 11 starts with Hanumanji said, whoa, hold on a second. Is this Sita? I don't think so. So he rejected the thought that this could be Sita. Avadhuya chatan buddhim babhuva avastithada jagama chaparam chintam sitam prati mahakapihi. So he said, no. Tam buddhim avadhuya. He rejected that thought. He rejected that idea that this can be Sita. Bhabuva avasthita tada. Then he fixed his intelligence back again on his mission and purpose to find Sita Devi. Jagama chaparam. And then he started moving to another place. And he said, Cha aparan. That one is someone else. That Mandodari is someone else. She is not Sita. Aparan chintam sitam prati mahakapi. And started thinking. So he started thinking, oh, if this is not Sita, then where is she? And how can this be Sita? This has to be someone else. Because from what I understand from Sri Ramachandra, when I see him in complete separation, behaving and going through this separation anxiety of swooning and crying and sometimes mumbling things incoherently, if he has such love for her, she must have similar love. And he brought about with his intelligence, which we call spiritual intelligence, who Sita should look like. He says, Na Ramena Vyukta Sa. So she cannot be separated from Sri Ramachandra, especially in thought. Physically, it seems they are separated, but their hearts are united like anything. So na Vyukta, it's not possible. How can Sita be embracing Ravana? It's not possible. Sa swapatum arhati bhamini. How can this great gentle lady be lying down next to someone else? Na bhoktum va. And she cannot be enjoying all this variety of food and beverages and arrangements and luxury and partying and frolicking. No. Api alankrutam va. Is she going to decorate herself in the best of jewelry like this? Na panam upasevitum. She would not be enjoying all this luxurious delights and delicacies of drinks and beverages and all sorts of intoxicating things. No. Na anyam naram upastitam. There she cannot be with some other man. Suranam apicha cha ishwaram. It can be the great demigods or the king of the demigods, Indra, but Sita cannot be with him. Nahi Rama samaha kaschid vidyate. She knows that there is nobody in this universe that equals Sri Ramachandra. Not just on earth, Tridesha Shvapi, even in the entire Tridasha Ishwa Api, in the 13 other realms. Anyayam iti nishchitya. This is someone else. Anyayam iti nishchitya. He became very, very confirmed and confident. This is someone else. And as soon as he realized this is someone else, Pana Bhumau Chachara Saha, he immediately left that house of beverages, or we call it a bar. He left it and went away. Chachara Saha very quickly left that place. So then as Hanuman is going from the bar scene, he's going into other rooms that are private quarters of all the women Ravana has gathered for himself. And these are women who, although abducted, are there for a big reason, that they wanted to be with Ravana. Most of them, or many of them. So now Hanuman is going from this hall, or what they call banquet hall or a bar, into another room or rooms that are all adjacent to each other within Ravana's private quarters. And he's seeing that some women were extremely fatigued after dancing, playing games. Some were exhausted after singing. Some were so intoxicated from alcohol and all the varieties of beverages that they had fallen asleep. Some women were lying down on the musical instruments. Some were holding drums and had fallen asleep. Some were just sprawled on these fabulous couches. You know, in movies, we see the morning after a frat party or some party, everyone is just so drunk and fallen, they don't know what they're doing. That's the condition. Hanuman saw thousands of beautiful angelic women all asleep after a night of great partying. Some of them were wearing very, very excellent jewelry. Some had very beautiful features. Some seemed like they were expert singers, and some who knew very good art of what to wear, what to say, what to do according to time, place, and circumstance, and the right expressions. In dance, we call them abhinaya, to express or to emote through the face and facial features. And in the middle of all of this Ravana was like a majestic bull lying down in a barn full of cows. Seemed like this arrogant elephant attended by many female elephants. In the 8th canto of Bhagavatam, we hear Gajendra, who went to the great pond by the Mandara mountain. He was the biggest, most powerful male elephant, and he was accompanied by thousands, millions of female elephants, because he could keep all of them happy, he could keep them together, and he would give them great delight. Such was Ravana. This Hanumanji went from the bar into the dining area. There he saw meat of deer, buffaloes, boars, all cooked and kept in golden vessels. Then he saw meat of peacocks, chicken, also decorated and placed in large golden vessels. And some people's audio is unmuted. Could you kindly mute yourself? I could hear background noises. Thank you. Then Hanuman saw meat of pigs, fowls, some bones and other things marinated in yogurt. We call it tikka masala. And with all varieties of salt, not just white salt, but pink Himalayan salt, organic salt, that salt, this salt. Then he saw all these varieties of birds, animals. Some were cooked, some were being cooked, some were nicely roasted, some were fried, goats, fish, and varieties of food meant for licking, or we say achar, relishes, pickles. So we know that we say that the spiritual master is delighted when the Supreme Lord is offered foods of 4 varieties. Those that can be chewed, that can be drunk, that can be licked, and that can be sipped. So this whole banquet hall or dining area was splendid with varieties of meats of all range of animals and birds. The condiments, the relishes, the spicing, some were marinated, some the varieties of ways in which they were cooked, and people were all relaxing, eating. Some had fallen asleep, and their drinks that they had, some cups were just strewn like that. The beverages were just flowing out on the table. They were not even, and all these rooms were decorated with flowers and fruits. And it was a luxury dining hall. The couches were made of gold, studded with jewelry. And the whole place was glowing like fire, but there was no fire. It was that effulgent and bright because it was rich, it was luxurious. Then he saw along these varieties of meats, there were a range of alcohol or alcoholic beverages, wines that were extracted from sugarcane, some made from honey, some from fruits, some from flowers. If you keep a fruit for a long time, it naturally ferments into alcohol. And there are varieties of alcohol. Some naturally become alcoholic or become alcohol as part of their fermentation process, and some are actually brewed to be alcoholic. And all of these beverages were seasoned with varieties of aromatic spices. The rooms were decorated with garlands all over, flowers and garlands. And each day he was like that. And all the vessels in which people were drinking from were made with gold, crystal, and everything was in such opulence. They saw the wine cellar full of large jars of wine kept in silver and gold pots. And each of the pots was studded with emeralds and rubies and diamonds and corals. And I was like, wow, this guy lives up the high life. Now, parallelly, what we know is that the conditioned living entity in this world enjoys from all five senses, whether it is tongue, ears, nose, skin, etc. Our eyes want to look at beautiful things, want to enjoy beauty, want to hear soothing and exciting and intoxicating music, what to speak of tasting the kinds of things that people cook and eat, or some eat raw, sushi, Chinese, this one, that one, Mexican. People want a variety as part of their enjoyment. This is the enjoyment of a conditioned soul. And all of that pleasure is experienced by the mind. Of course, the soul, because that's the only living thing, but is all experienced in the mind, which is Ravana. And then he saw some more women, all part of Ravana's harem. Some were sleeping on each other. Valmiki even says that Hanumanji saw that some women, they were fallen asleep, but maybe they were feeling a little cold because they were naked. They pulled the clothes of the other woman right next to them and covered themselves with it. So Hanuman is seeing bodies of women naked, half clothed, some clothed, beautifully decorated with jewelry, and he's going through all of this. And for him, it's a major sensory overload, because there is all these fragrances of sandalwood and varieties of fragrances. And Hanuman is thinking, oh my God, where is Sita Devi? And finally, he got off from this Pushpaka Vimana, which is where Ravana's private quarters were. He came through that entire thick smoke of fragrance that was going on, because they were burning frankincense and sandalwood, and we call it dhoop. That's what it is. And Hanuman saw that some women are fair, some are darker, some are golden in complexion, some had indulged in very graphic sexual activities, and they were some were like creepers, some were like closed lotuses. Hanuman pretty much saw every detail in Ravana's palace, but could not find Janaki, Sita Devi. So Valmiki then says, Nirikshamanascha tada taha striyah sa mahakapihi jagama mahatim chintam dharma sadhavas shamkitaha. Dharma sadhvasa shamkitaha. Hanuman became worried. Mahatim chintam. He became greatly worried that I nirikshamanascha tada taha striyah. I examined in close detail all these women. Have I transgressed dharma? Have I broken moral code? Dharma sadhva shamkitaha. I had this doubt. Have I broken the regulative principles? And so people have this idea, hey, have I broken to what extent can I go before it's called violating the regulative principle? Sometimes each one of us have had either currently or previously in our lives, or if not, sometime in the future, the work that we do and what all we need to do with the work, whether that is service at all. For example, many of us may doubt whether the work we do, whether it is software or teaching of some material science or uh, whatever work range of works we do, retail business, this thing, that thing, and in that retail business, or whatever work we do, there are social gatherings, there are the conferences, you have to go to Vegas, you have to go to this city, that city, then there is the evening gathering, people are sitting and having drinks and beverages and eating and frolicking and spending money and time, and we may have to be there, and we wonder, is this service? Is this part of devotional service? Am I really engaged in bhakti? I'm supposed to see my work as service, because Rupa Goswami and Narada Muni have told me that Hrishikena Hrishikesha Sevanam Bhaktiruchyate. Am I serving the Lord of the senses, Hrishikesha? Is this service? What's important is the intention with which we're there. A conditioned soul sees activity but not intention, because that's what's visible. And the Supreme Lord sees intention and not necessarily only activity. He sees activity also, but not necessarily only that. Because the conditioned soul has a very external view, they only accept what is visible, but they can't see what's in the heart. Because the Lord is sitting in the heart, he sees the heart first. So that's why the Supreme Lord gives inspiration from time to time. Another is, in general, a conditioned soul must have a healthy fear of Maya. In one of the videos of Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I'm using the word lamentation, or sort of sometime said, my followers, and I'm paraphrasing, my followers are not as fearful of Maya as they should be. So the conditioned soul, although situated in dharmic activity, has the tendency to flirt with Maya a little bit. It's like playing with fire. There's some exhilaration, but we don't know when something is too much. So we like to, when I say we, I mean conditioned soul likes to risk it, live on the edge. Then Hanumanji is thinking, Paradharavarodhasya prasuptasya niriksharam idam khalu mamatyartham dharmalopam karishyati. Paradharavarodhasya. I have seen the wives of someone else, or women who belong to someone else. And how have I seen them? Prasuptasya, while they are in deep sleep. According to Manu Samhita, one should not observe or see a woman while she's asleep. And nirikshanam, I examined them. Idam khalu mama atyartham dharmalopanam. According to me, this is definitely an intense transgression of dharma. Is it? That's how he thought. I mean, imagine what a service for Hanumanji. First of all, Kattar Brahmachari. The service he has is to examine every woman in detail. And where? In their bedroom. While they are sleeping, or when their guards are down. Some of them are naked. And the jewelry they're wearing is looking at the features of every woman carefully. Their eyebrows, their cheeks, their dimples in the cheeks, their earrings, their hair, their ears, their necks, I mean, he's searching for Sita. Then he says, yeah, I did that, but what was my heart like? So he's examining for himself. What was my heart like? Nahi me paradaram drishtir Vishayavartini. Ayam chatra maya drishta paradara parigraha. Paradara aparigraha. Nahi me paradaranam drishtir Vishayavartini. He says, I examined all the wives of, or the women of Ravana very, very carefully, but Vishayavartini, the objects of the senses did not disturb my senses. Ayamcha atra maya drashtaha. And I also saw all of these women aparigraha, without a sense of possessiveness. I never thought even for a moment, oh wow, it'd be nice to enjoy like this guy. So this aparigraha is an important word that appears whenever there is discussion of a sadhu whose senses are under control, and in the mind there is no sense of ownership or possessiveness. So the word graha means to hold. Parigraha means to hold even from internally, a sense of possessiveness. Aparigraha means has no such senses. So we're going to go to Bhagavad Gita in chapter 6. Krishna says, Yogi yunjitaha satatam atmanam rahasi sthitaha ekaki yata chittatma nirashir aparigraha. A transcendentalist should always engage his body, mind, and self in relationship with the Supreme. Yogi yunjita satatam atmanam. Satatam. Always. That sense of connection must be there with the Supreme Lord. And in body, mind, and words. Then rahasi sthitaha must be living in seclusion. Now, for we're all living in cities and suburbs and bustling metropolises, so we can't live like that. But what we need to check is our body, mind, and words connected to the Supreme? Ekaki, alone. Rahasti sthita ekaki. Yata chittatma. And his mind fully controlled. And how is the mind controlled? Nirashir. Nira ashir. No desires. No material desires. And aparigraha, no sense of possessiveness. I want to have this, I want to have that. Oh, it'd be nice to have that one. This is mine, that is mine. So that's what it takes to be a yogi. And Hanumanji is looking at himself, says, no, aparigraha. I did not have even the slightest tinge of, oh, I want to be enjoying like that. So I'm going to read some excerpt from that purport that Prabhupada tells us. So this is just an excerpt, not the entire one. Prabhupada says, the first business of a transcendentalist is to keep the mind always on Krishna or Sri Rama. One should always think of Krishna and not forget him even for a moment. Concentration of the mind on the Supreme is called samadhi or trance. In order to concentrate the mind, one should always remain in seclusion and avoid disturbance by external objects. He should be very careful to accept favorable and reject unfavorable conditions that affect his realization. And in perfect determination, he should not hanker after unnecessary material things that entangle him by feelings of possessiveness. A Krishna conscious person well knows that everything belongs to Krishna, and thus he is always free from feelings of personal possession. As such, he has no hankerings for anything on his own personal account. He knows how to accept things in favor of Krishna consciousness and how to reject things unfavorable to Krishna consciousness. He's always aloof from material things because he's always transcendental and he's always alone, having nothing to do with persons not in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, A person in Krishna consciousness is the perfect yogi. This aloneness means, if not physically, at least internally, one doesn't feel like, oh, I wish I can also enjoy like them. We may have to be there given our circumstances of work or situations of meeting with people of this world, because that's our mandate from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that we try to make our lives perfect by also helping others make their lives perfect. So we cannot sit in a bubble and say, I don't want to meet anyone, and then never feel the joy of what it takes to see a conditioned soul come in some contact with the process of bhakti. So Hanuman is there showing us that he's there in Lanka, but internally very, very well isolated. Tasya pradurbhuchintita पुनरन्याः मनस्विनः निश्चितैकान्तचित्तस्य कार्यनिश्चयदर्शिनी. Manasvinah Pradurbhuta Chintaha. One more new idea came into Hanuman. Punaranyaha Manas. Again. Now he had a very clear vision. Karya Nishchaya Darshini. He became very clearly focused. And this is what each person must do in the order of service, that from time to time recalibrate. That's the word I've used previously many times. Recalibrate. Where am I? How far am I from where I'm going, or what I need to get accomplished? Is my body, mind, and words in alignment? If not, let me do it. Let me bring it back. Nishchita ekanta chittasya. Nishchita, but determinedly, surely realign himself. And Hanuman said, Kamam drishta maya sarva vishwasta ravana striyaha nahime manasa kinchid vaikrityam upajayate. He says, Drashta maya sarva vishwasta ravana striya. I saw all of Ravana's women in all different states of being. However, nahi me manasah kamaha kinchid vaikrityam. Vikrita means to transform. So he says, Kamam kinchid vaikrityam me manasa na. My mind did not even a little bit. Kinchit means slightly. Even slightly, my mind did not get disturbed by seeing a lusty situation, or lust did not even slightly transform my mind. Upajayate na. Wonderful, wonderful personality, Hanumanji. Then he says, Manohi hetu sarvesham indriyanam pravartane. Shubha shubhav avasthasu tat cha me suvyavasthitam. He says that generally the mind always moves between good and bad. Shubha avasthitav. He says, but my mind is me suvyavasthitam. My mind is very firmly fixed in service. That's the nature of the mind. It's constantly flickering, like Arjuna said, Chanchalahi Manaha Krishna. It is constantly like this, between what is good for us, what we think is good for us, what we like, what we don't like, what I prefer, what I don't prefer, and it's throwing at us different desires. Hanuman says, no, mind suvyavasthitam, very strongly fixed. Na anyatra hi maya shakya vaidehim parimargitum. Striyo hi strishu drishyante sada sab parimargane. So he says, where am I going to search for Sita Devi if I don't search through women? I cannot go if I want to look for people who are going to a movie. I have to go to a movie theater. I cannot go to a temple. I cannot go to a sports arena because that's not where people are, those who are my interest group. So if I have to find Sita Devi, I have to be where women are. As simple. Yasya satvasya ya yonishtayam tat parimargayate na shakya paramada nashtaha mrigishu paramargitum. So if I want to search for a certain species, then I have to be within that species. It is not possible to find a woman in the herd of deer. They're not the same species. So he's reconciling why he is there. Tadidam margitam tavachedunena manasa maya Ravanah antahpuram sarvam drishyate natu janaki. So therefore, I was searching through Ravana's bedrooms and private quarters, but with a pure mind. Manasa maya tava shuddhena. Tavat shuddhena manasa maya. My mind was always pure, although I was moving through Ravana's bedrooms. But I could not see Janaki. Drishyate natu Janaki. He says, Deva Gandharva Kanyascha Naga Kanyascha Virevan Avekshamano Hanuman Naiva Pashyata Janakim. So Hanuman Valmiki is telling us he saw women from all parts of the universe, but could not see Sita Devi. Kama Pashyakan Kapistatra Pashyannascha Parastriyaha Apakramya Tada Viraha Pradhyatum Upachakrame. So Hanuman stepped aside and he said, I'm not able to find Sita. I searched through every place. I saw the city. I saw all the houses. I went through all of the demons' homes, if Ravana had kept her anywhere. I went into Ravana's palace. I searched every nook and cranny of Ravana's palace. I saw his private quarters. I searched through every little place. I searched through every woman that was there. I saw the bars, the banquet halls, the flower places, the fruit places. I saw every nook and cranny. I have not found Sita. What do I do? Do I give up? But Hanumanji is showing us that he doesn't give up. He has this sense of enthusiasm that he won't give up. Sa bhuyastu param shriman marutir yatnamasthitaha. As soon as he determines, no, I'm not going to give up this search, Valmiki calls him Shriman. Very, very illustrious, because only a person who keeps at it, how much ever failure one gets along the way, but one keeps on the path of bhakti, gets up, dusts oneself, and continues. Such a person is called Shriman. So bhuyastu, again, Shriman Marutir Yatnamastita. Once again, he fixed himself in making the effort of searching for Sita Devi. Apana bhumim utsrijya tad vichetum parichakrame. He immediately left that apana bhumim, the area where there was all beverages and great enjoyment, the resort. He left it and with a new renewed vigor and thought started searching very quickly for Sita Devi. The one thing that fuels us again and again is utsaha, like Hanumanji has called enthusiasm. That one enthusiasm, we have been told by Rupa Goswami to never lose it. One who loses enthusiasm loses all hope. But one who may lose hope but has enthusiasm will always find success. However, one thing that we will find as we read the next couple of chapters, that even after searching, Hanuman will not find Sita Devi, because there is one thing that's missing. And Hanumanji is showing us through this pastime that very, very important is effort, no doubt. Our enthusiasm is the demonstration of our effort to the Lord. But that's necessary, but not sufficient. Srila Rupa Goswami in Nectar of Devotion tells us that laulyam ekam, the only price we have to pay is the intense desire. And that desire is expressed as enthusiasm. If there's no desire, one cannot be enthusiastic. But that is necessary, but not sufficient. The other piece that is required is grace, mercy. And Hanumanji is showing that as a sadhaka or as a spiritualist, not just bhakti sadhaka, but a spiritualist trying to search for the soul, one's own efforts, however intense they are necessary, but not sufficient. We need the element of grace. So there are Upanishadic verses that says that one na tarkena, not by any idea of logic, na shrutena, not by hearing so much of the Vedas or Vedic message, not this way, not that way. One can only find the Supreme or the soul when that particular entity reveals himself. So there is this sense of revelation. The common language we use is descending. Mercy has to descend, versus the material method or the mundane method is an ascending process that I keep on trying. We keep on trying, but we keep on trying to evoke mercy. That's the effort. And we'll find Hanumanji is now going to invoke and evoke the mercy of Sita and Ramachandra. Without that, Sita cannot be seen by anybody. So that's the end of chapter 11. We'll now find in the subsequent chapters Hanumanji renewing his energies, renewing his search, and he's now going to go and re-look at all the places all over again and some new places. So any questions, comments, or thoughts? Sorry, we've gone longer because of some administrative issues. Any
Hare
questions
Krishna,
or comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah, Haribol.
Please accept my humble obeisances, our Krishna Prabhupada. Wonderful class. I have an appreciation and one question. Appreciating your point about, can you repeat it once, if you don't mind? One who has loose enthusiasm, then there is no hope. Can you repeat that? I understood, but I forgot. Sir.
One who loses enthusiasm loses all hope. But one who keeps their hope alive with enthusiasm will find new hope, or something like that. The idea is, Rupa Goswami tells us, hope against hope. So how is that hope against hope possible without enthusiasm? Enthusiasm is that little battery charge that keeps the entire device alive. The day that enthusiasm goes away, the device called body or the vehicle called bhakti stops. We need to recharge, and the recharging is new enthusiasm. The enthusiasm comes from association, comes from the intention that I don't want to give up, however hard the process might look like. I don't want to give up. I don't want to give up because sometimes we ask this question, so many years have passed. I don't see any movement. I don't see any advancement. Is it worth it? So doubts are all those things that discharge enthusiasm very, very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And the other items increase enthusiasm.
Yes, yes,
something
yes,
like
yes, yes. So I have around two questions. Sorry. So yes, yes, enthusiasm, but at the same time, you also mentioned that grace is very important. And Hanumanji didn't find Sita, Mother Sita, because the grace was not there. And you also quoted the verse Nayam Atma Parvachanam Labhyo. And also, of course, we know this verse from Rupa Goswami, Na Prem Shamadi Bhakti Api Na Yoga Athva Vaishnavo. Understandable. But to keep enthusiasm on and on and on and on and on, and uh, it's good. It's even if there is no hope, if we have a service, we can keep our enthusiasm on. Uh, but uh, is this service enough to keep us going? Because I have an answer for that. Yes, it is enough, but I need a confirmation from you.
well, let's define service first of all. Service has three components. Of course, the Rupa Goswami definition of service means there is an object of service, there is the doer of service, and the service itself as a mean. I'm using three as this: body, mind, and words, or body and intention. Just be, and we've said this previously. Let's say you're in a holy place or in a temple and you're cutting a potato or washing a pot. Is that service?
Yes.
May not be. It depends upon where one's mind is. So physically, on the physical plane, it looks like service and it may be service, but it also has to look like service and feel like service on the internal plane. Otherwise, one may think that if I cut a potato in a temple, that's service, but if I cut a potato at home, it may not be service. Or if I cut a
Mm,
potato in a friend's place, it's not service. And that friend may not be a devotee. The point is, internally, the so Rupa Goswami says, uh, that the dull senses, I've come to that stage where verses I'm forgetting.
Atas Krishna Namati.
Thank you. Atasi Krishna Namadi na bhavet grahyam indriyer. Sevon mukhe jivadau. So seva unmukhe. One must have a disposition of service, not physical. Internally has to be service. So whether one is at workplace, coding software, doing architectural work, mechanical engineering work, going shopping, whatever, the bhava must be seva. That is called seva unmukhe. Then swayameva spurhati adaha. Then the Hanuman is checking. The reason he's checking is because he's telling us that I went through Ravana's bedrooms, but my mind was not at all disturbed. My sense of service was very, very strong. And this is why he's going to get grace. Not that he doesn't have it. This is the storyline, that because it is called the Vedic literature, we are being told the pathway in which we need to keep checking and to invoke that mercy that's coming. But
Yes, Prabhu.
service has to have service intention. It can be anything, but has to be done service mindedly, most importantly. And
Wow.
activity also is important, sure. I cannot
Wow.
drink whiskey and say I'm in the mood of service. That's not okay. But activity alone, no. Seva unmukhe. He didn't say seva. Seva unmukhe. Swayameva subrahati. What is my disposition? That's what I started the class with. Krishna sees intention, not just activity. A conditioned soul sees activity, cannot see the intention.
Yes, it makes so sense. It's very difficult to maintain the mood of service when we're doing the same service in some house compared to the temple, compared to a place where we feel more
Right.
spiritualized.
So why temple and such areas as holy places? Because they foster the sense of enthusiasm and they help orient a lot better. It's required. No doubt it's required. Therefore, we are told that in the Kanishta stages, these things are very, very important. And we see ourselves like that. So these are important. No doubt. They're very important.
Yes, Prabhu. And you also told about how Hanumanji was fixed in his mind.
Yeah.
And you also told about aparigraha. He has
Yeah.
no sense of possession. Now, I'm being a little bit personal in my service. I had to deal with a lot of Matajis, a young 16-year-old every day, at least 100 Matajis in a school, university, music festivals. Uh, of course, sense of possessiveness is not there. But given, and of course, I am not Hanumanji. When I keep doing the service, you subtly, externally, I have that sense of not possessiveness to any women. But is it possible that when a time goes, the subtle things comes up, or how? Let's put this way: how to protect even not how to protect ourselves that even the subtle thing doesn't come in the mind.
So we recite these verses of Hanuman. For example, we remember we are under the shelter of and in the shadow of holding the dhoti of whatever phrase you want to use of great personalities like Hanumanji, who has this contemplation that I have examined all the women of Ravana. He's not distributing a book and just he's examining every woman, every detail of hers to see, is this Sita, is this Sita. But nakinchit kamam manasa vikritya, my mind did not transform, because he has this idea of I'm serving Sri Ramachandra here. So it's a practice. We're all about practice. From practice comes spontaneity. Practice. And Hanuman showed excuse me, showed us that from time to time one has to calibrate. Where is my mind? What are my intentions right now? Are they in the devotional side? Are they in the non-devotional side? If they're in the non-devotional side, Krishna says to Arjuna, right? Shanai Shanai, through practice, gradually, one brings the mind under the control of the self.
Well, that makes sense. But
Abhyasa.
Shanai Uparimad is for the Gnanis, Ashtang
It's for
yogis.
everybody. No, it's for everybody. For
Let's
us
let's
also.
let's took this way. Can we just depend on the bhakti process or mercy rather than trying?
When we use statements like, can we just depend on the bhakti process, there is a danger or a risk of the idea of complacency that I don't have to do anything. That's not our process just yet. That is for samashrita ye pada pallava plavam. Samashrita. We haven't gotten there yet. At least I haven't gotten there yet. So there is some effort required from our side to show the Supreme Lord that I'm not just passive. I'm active in this relationship. That's my dependence on the bhakti process. Think of it as swimming upstream, Prabhupada said. If you are moving your hands and legs as you're moving upstream, because the water current will take you down, that effort is required to keep going. If you stop, then the current of the water will take you down. Not you, take us down. So effort is there. It cannot be. But that effort is a demonstration of our enthusiasm to call on the Lord, please pull me up.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
And that effort doesn't necessarily have to be, visually some physical like that. The effort is, the most of it is happening internally. My dear Lord, I'm getting beaten up. I need your grace. Please help me. That's my effort to say, I need your help. Nothing wrong. That's my effort. If I don't say anything, hey, today here, tomorrow, we'll see where I go. That's the passivity of it.
Well, super awesome. Thanks, Prabhu. That the effort is Prabhu. Krishna. I'm getting beaten up. Please help me, and it makes sense. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Oh, I got a very silent crowd today.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hari bol, Narahari.
I have one question regarding.
Fire away.
Sorry?
Fire away. Go ahead.
So the speaker says Krishna looks and not on the intention, because he gives two examples. One is Putana, one other one is Ajamila. There, even the intention was not correct. Krishna was looking at the activities. Can you comment on that one?
Where is that comment that Krishna is not looking at intention?
Not intent. Krishna looks at the activity also. Because
Yeah.
if you look at the Ajamila and also Putana, their intentions were not good, but Krishna looked at the activities and he blessed that he awarded them.
No, in Putana's case, there was an intention also. There are two intentions there. One, as Putana, she wanted to kill. But there was another intention that she came as a mother. That's from a previous life. There is an intention. That's what inspired her to come as not a Rakshasi, but as a nurse. So both intentions are there. So Krishna accepted her breast milk for that intention, but took away this Rakshasa body for the other intention. So don't see it in only one color. There is, like in the white sunlight, there is 7 colors in it. So that's called a spectrum. Look at the range of things. In Ajamila's case, he tried very genuinely, but was unable. It says that he recited all his mantras, this thing, that thing. But it's somewhere that Samskara had the intention of naming his son Narayana. That intention was there. Even that slight intention of wanting to name his son Narayana so he can call him Narayana, Krishna accepted that intention. And therefore, Ajamila didn't go back to Godhead directly. He got a second chance. Krishna is very expert. Let's not see in one dimension. Because I had an intention, everybody has to go in a flying airplane. Krishna knows exactly how to reciprocate with each one according to the strength of intensity, the kind of intensity, the expression of it, the expression of the intention, etc. But he always reciprocates. May look different, always reciprocates. Both intention and action. A great question.
Thank you, Prabhu.
All right, let's wind up. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.